And welcome back to the Drunken Nerd Podcast, where we love our beer as much as we love our video games, movies, and TV shows. My name is Carl, and with me is the co-host, the Shipper.
Just call me Just call me Ship. It's fine.
The Ship.
Just the Ship.
Just the Ship. All right, sorry.
The Frigate.
I'll leave the ER off in the future.
Makes all the difference, Carl.
Or maybe the Shipper. Like, is it the hard R that upsets you, or is it just...
I don't know.
All right, so Shippy, how you feeling today?
Man, you just calling all my nicknames today, aren't you?
Ship happens.
I got that glass downstairs.
Yeah. Having a good day? You doing well?
Yeah, can't complain.
Yeah, same. It's like literally perfect weather at this point. Like, Jersey style at least.
Yeah.
This is the best we can get in Jersey.
So that's not a high bar to really hit.
Yeah. To Jersey. Anyway, today we have something that is actually great from Jersey. Something you can't have bad words about from Jersey. Cape May Brewing Company's Follow the Gull. It is an IPA with tropical and citrus aromas. So let's give this a test taste.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely a nice, refreshing IPA. Like you said, it's 5.5% alcohol, which makes it a nice all-day kind of IPA. You know, some of these IPAs are coming out 7, 8, 9%,
which are more than that,
which are great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But that's not something you want to start your day drinking on.
Yeah. I mean, what I love about the 5.5% is I can golf with it. Like, it's not going to affect my golf swing after 3 holes or whatever.
So this one you say you can golf on. The last week you said you can golf on it. Is there a beer we can find that you can't golf on?
That could be the challenge. Like, what beer am I going to admit will it affect my golf game? Whether or not it does or not. What beer will I admit that I can
Maybe we should start rating these on the ability you play your holes after drinking
like
these.
That. Like a 0 to 18 scale. Right, like, do I think I can play?
You can't even get on the green with a 0.
Yeah.
But with an 18, you're all day. You're hitting the 19th hole at that point still.
Yeah. Okay, so Cape May Follow the Gull IPA at a 5.5 alcohol by volume. This is a 9-hole beer.
9-hole?
Say 9-hole.
Okay.
Last week.
After one? Or after how many?
No, just like a consistent drinking
pattern. While you're playing.
Not trying to go beer a hole like some insane person.
Sure.
But,
so not beer golf, got it?
Yeah. But like just a consistent little bit of drinking, 9 holes I can get through. Last week would probably have been like a 12 or 13 hole beer.
Okay. That was the wet ticket watermelon wheat.
Yes. Mm-hmm. For sake of argument, Dogfish 120 minute.
That might be a 0.
That's a 1 or a 2 hole beer. But then a Bud Light hard seltzer, 18 hole beer.
Okay, so we got a range. Yeah, we got a spectrum.
Yeah, now we know what's at the extreme and what's at the non-extreme. So anyway, back on point, Cape May Brewing. This beer is absolutely delicious. Apparently, it pairs well with chicken, tacos, or sunlight.
Which ones do you prefer of those 3 things?
I could take or leave the sunlight, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Vitamin D doesn't mean anything to you?
No, I'm not a plant.
I don't know a plant to use vitamin D, or is it just sunlight? I don't know.
It's called
That's a different podcast that we're not
photosynthesis.
Oh, yeah,
read
science.
a book. Anyway, Katie and I made some fish tacos last night. This beer would have gone incredible with those. Mm-hmm. Like, just the citrusy flavors would have matched that of like the fish taco like so perfectly. And yeah, that's about that. Okay. On the can, we've got a seagull eating a little hop. A delightful little guy.
Is he eating it, or is he just carrying it around?
I'm assuming he's eating it because the seagull likes beer. I would buy this based on the look of the can alone, because sometimes I buy things based on like funny cans.
I mean, they've proven that visual marketing is one of the most important things, just to get your product in people's hands.
Yeah, I'd respect that. So if anybody wants some Cape May beer, they're located in Cape May, New Jersey. That's what, a half hour, 45 minutes south of Atlantic City, probably.
Something like that.
Central
Jersey area, maybe South Central.
Yeah. Oh, South Jersey, wouldn't that be?
I don't know.
Oh, anyway,
I'm making things up as I go along.
They describe themselves as a brewtique.
Brewtique. That is, I think, your favorite word in the world.
It's not my favorite in the world. No, boutique, bro.
Not boutique. Brewtique.
My favorite thing in the world is combining two words to make a new word. So
so this is right up there.
I respect brewtique, we'll say. And another thing that I respect about brewtique is my dad has always called like local breweries boutique shit because you gotta get that Mick Ultra in your life because everything else is boutique shit. Are you saying that's what your dad drinks?
Yeah,
my dad drinks Mick Ultra, Mick Light, and then he calls IPAs boutique shit. So we shouldn't be taking this man's opinion on beer. However,
so is your dad going to hear this?
No.
Can't support his son. Got it.
No. Oh, there's no chance on that. The fact that you listen to me for an hour a week is amazing. My dad's been listening to me for more than an hour a week for 30 years.
Yeah, I don't know how I do it. Someone should pay me for this.
We need a sponsor. We need a sponsor so that your time is actually worth something to deal with.
Wouldn't that be the dream?
All of this. Asterisk crudely gestures to self. And asterisk. So anyway, Cape May, Follow the Gull IPA, highly recommend. This is a 2 thumbs up beer for me.
It's a 9-hole beer, got it.
9-hole beer. Oh, that's some good stuff. So, moving on. This week, I believe we agreed to cover the cinematic gem.
Now, before you go on, you say gem. Mm-hmm. Are we referencing gem like a diamond, or more like the stuff on the bottom of your boot when you go through the swamp?
Define diamond.
Not the blood diamonds out of Africa. We're not talking about that stuff. More like the stuff you put on a lady's finger.
Okay, yeah. This is definitely leaning towards the boot.
Okay. Got it. So, quotational marks.
Yeah, because if you had said the blood diamond, I would say very similar to the blood diamond, and I wish
that still has value.
Well, no, but I wish that the people that made those would just stop.
Fair enough.
So, just a little bit of backstory. The director of this movie, do you know what this movie, known as Ghost Rider. Which
I'm glad we made sure people knew what movie we're talking about here.
Yeah, well, I kind of wish we didn't tell people the name of this movie so they wouldn't look it up. Anyway.
You afraid that it might bring back horror and scare little children who might be listening to our podcast?
So the comic book character, Ghost Rider, has the penance stare. This movie is the penance stare for me. It makes me feel terrible.
You're going to gloss over?
Yeah. So the director, Mark Steven Johnson, you know what he directed immediately before this movie?
What's that?
Daredevil.
Oh, another gem.
Yes.
And by gem, I mean about the same quality as this one.
So this guy, I mean, I'm sure he's a delightful human being, but I wish he would stop with movies. Like,
maybe he did.
Did he do anything looking at his IMDb page, he has a 2019 director credit, so he's still going strong.
What did he do in 2019?
Something about Steve McQueen.
Oh, nobody
Finding
watched that.
Steve McQueen.
Nobody watched that.
Good for him.
Nobody watched that.
Yeah, great on him. Good on him.
So, you know, we watched this movie, and this was back before, you know, people, this is a Marvel property. Marvel comic property. And everybody's familiar with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Avengers, the stuff. This was well before Marvel decided they were going to make movies.
This on a 2007 release.
Right.
And
this property actually predates back to 1972 when Marvel created the character of Ghost Rider for the comic release. In the comics, he's a stunt motorcyclist, Johnny Blaze. You know, Johnny Blaze, the stunt motorcyclist. He makes a deal with Satan to save his father's.
In the comics, it's actually Satan.
Yes, in the comics.
Okay.
Well, later they renamed Satan as Mephisto, which they just expanded, so it wasn't, I don't know why, but they just expanded.
In this movie, it's Mephistopheles, also known as Mephisto. So they changed it in the
later, I think they probably changed it after the movie. So there's a little bit of retconning going on here.
In this movie, they just made those the same person.
Right.
Come on.
So in the comics, he goes around. He's got the hellfire, and which causes his head to turn into a skull and burns. Really, what it is, his skin melts off, and he's just a skeleton thereafter.
What about his organs?
I would imagine they combusted as well.
Well, he keeps the jacket on though.
Maybe he does.
He still has
it's his
stomach and stuff.
It's his fire retardant jacket.
Yeah, well, leather, as we all know.
It's fire retardant. Yes, of course.
Because reasons.
Yeah, and in the comics, he's got his motorcycle. He's got a fiery blast, almost like a street fighter, like we spoke about last week. Hadouken. But one thing that's interesting is that in the comics, he eventually learns that the demon. So in the comics, it's not so much Johnny Blaze becomes Ghost Rider. It's more the Ghost Rider is a spirit within Johnny Blaze.
Spirit of vengeance, some say.
Some would say the spirit of vengeance.
Nicolas Cage would say that. We'll get to that.
And he might.
Oh, shoehorns. Anyway.
But so in the comics, he finds out that the spirit of vengeance, as we say, is actually a demon called Zarathos.
Ooh.
So there's that. There's actually been quite a few Ghost Riders. Ghost Rider's not really, like I said, it's not Johnny Cage. That famous guy from Mortal Kombat.
we were discussing either watching the Mortal Kombat movie or the Ghost Rider movie for this week, and I'm now suspecting that Shipper turned this movie off and watched Mortal Kombat instead. Carry on, Johnny Cage.
What I really did was I watched first half of Ghost Rider and then the second half of Mortal Kombat and just combined the two because they're both equally good.
Yeah. Oh.
But so like I said, Ghost Rider is more of a mantle than it is Johnny Blaze himself, and there's actually been 4 iterations of Ghost Rider in the comics and in other properties, because obviously Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had a Ghost Rider.
That's Robbie, right?
Yeah, and Robbie's the third one. So you have Johnny Blaze, Danny Ketch, Robbie Reyes, and actually Asterisk Frank Castle, who's the Punisher, but he's only Ghost Rider in an alternate Earth.
Yeah,
that's the alternate timelines they do just get really confusing.
I mean, Ghost Rider and Punisher actually makes sense as like a mashup because they're both two people that they're Judge Judy and Executioner.
Absolutely. Judge Judy?
Yeah.
Judge Judy Shineland, if you're listening.
Yeah. Sponsor us. But anyway, so like I get that mashup. However, it's an alternate universe. He's not really a Ghost Rider iteration.
Right.
Yeah.
And so specifically the movie focuses on Johnny Blaze, not Johnny Cage, Johnny Blaze as Ghost Rider.
Okay.
In the comics, he has the Hellfire, the Flaming Skulls.
Fireballs.
He throws the fireballs.
Balls of fire.
The movie takes some liberties with this,
of course.
Which then I think they ended up retconning, Marvel Comics did, in making the comics mesh more with the movie. And we'll get into that.
They should have done the opposite, where the comics separated themselves as far from the
we have nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Don't look at us. We didn't. Yeah. I agree with that. One of the other powers he also has is pyrokinesis, which is the ability to create and control fire.
Okay.
So
good on him.
Yeah.
That apparently. Oh my God. We'll get to that in the movie. I hate.
So that's a little bit of the behind. I know we've lost probably half the people listening to a little bit of comic book talk there.
But you need to create the backstory, like at least
you
set the environment as it's so called.
Let's see the difference, kind of thing. Yeah, no, I get it. So, Carl, what's this movie about?
Okay, so are we ignoring what we actually know about the character Ghost Rider? You want me to explain the plot of the movie?
I want to know what the plot of the movie. Since I turned off the last half specifically,
right.
I would like to know. Spoiler free.
Okay.
What's this movie about?
Okay. So I'm going to ignore the comic books. I'm just going to tell you straight the movie experience. So
that's what we got here.
Mephistopheles / the devil, apparently, Anyways.
Oh, it's absolutely the devil in this.
Yeah.
They barely name him.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay. So he's just like collecting souls for some reason. This is all in the opening monologue by... Anyway. Okay. So Mephistopheles is going around collecting souls, and then a Ghost Rider who is working for Mephisto. I'm going to call him Mephisto for the rest of the time.
Yeah, let's shorten it. Mephisto.
He collects the souls for a contract that's apparently so evil that it would unleash hell on earth because reasons. And he hides the contract from Mephisto. So now
Ghost Rider does.
Ghost Rider hides it. Yes, the pronoun game's good for nobody. There is a chicken outside your window.
Yeah, I got my neighbor's got chickens in a rooster.
I couldn't ignore that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my neighbor moved in.
This is a neighborhood too. Like, you don't live in the country.
No. I mean, I could throw a stone at his chicken from my window.
I could throw the chicken at that chicken. Right. Anyway,
was that a fried chicken?
I'm sorry, I could not. It would pair well with this beer.
Let me go grab my
Dan tells us that. It just came full circle. This chicken is sent from God. Right, anyway, sorry.
Yep. My neighbor's got chickens.
I couldn't get by that.
You got 2 chickens and a rooster.
So that Ghost Rider hides the contract from Mephisto because it would unleash hell on earth. So now, flash cut to Johnny Blaze. Showing off.
Yeah, the stunt coordinating, jumping over shit
guy.
Yeah,
in the circus.
The circus,
apparently.
He's basically what's that old 70s stunt guy? Oh God,
Steve McQueen.
No,
we just talked about. Oh no, Evel Knievel.
Yeah, he's basically modern day Evel Knievel.
Yeah,
he even wears the same like white jumpsuit with the blue and red stars and all that. Yeah.
He's got the heart of some girl, so he pops a wheelie, and then his dad yells at him for, hey, you can't be showing off like that. You're such a show off. You're gonna get yourself hurt, Johnny Blaze. Anyway, they agree to run away together, Johnny Blaze and the girl, and then Mephisto shows up. He's like, hey, by the way, your dad has cancer. Sell your soul to me, and I'll cure his cancer. So then Johnny Blaze agrees, perhaps accidentally. Movie's unclear about that.
He doesn't quite understand what he's agreeing to.
Yeah, he doesn't understand anything. The very next day, Johnny Blaze's dad wakes up. He's like, I feel like a horse. I'm so great.
Like a horse?
Yeah.
With a neigh and everything.
And then he immediately dies. So then Johnny Blaze just runs away, and he becomes a professional stuntman. This is the first 5 minutes of the movie.
That's true.
Becomes a professional stuntman, and then third of the way through the movie, Mephisto shows back up. He's like, hey, now you're my Ghost Rider. Do my bidding.
For no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in the contract.
No, it just, this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I lost my train of thought because this movie just...
It's a train wreck.
It has that effect on you. Mephisto shows up. Hey, you're my Ghost Rider now. Do this. And he's like, okay, I guess I'll do this.
Go kill Blackheart.
Yeah, go kill Blackheart.
The demon, Blackheart. Spoiler alert, but Blackheart is Mephisto's son. There's some serious daddy issues going on in this movie.
That's comic accurate, actually. Yeah. Blackheart is the son of
that is true.
Mephisto.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, that's the movie. That's the best I could do. Absolute spoiler.
And hijinks ensue.
Yeah. Hijinks, all right. I'm gonna say that wraps up my spoiler-free review because I have nothing more to say about this movie other than tearing it apart.
Well, and of course, it came out in 2007, so if you haven't seen it at this point, pause right now, go check out Netflix, it's on there, and come back. So then you'll agree with everything we're about to say.
You saying this came out in 2007 almost made me be like, okay, so this movie deserves a little bit of wiggle room because it came out in 2007. You know what came out in 2008? Iron Man.
Oh, which is now the golden standard to most comic movies.
That movie is remarkable. 1 year later, from Ghost Rider to Iron Man.
Well, what year did Disney buy Marvel?
Disney buy Marvel?
Because I think that had a lot to do with it.
Let's give it a look. What year did Disney buy Marvel?
I mean, when you're talking Columbia Pictures, who produced Ghost Rider, versus Disney producing movies, there's a big difference in budget. I mean, this movie had a
Disney bought
budget
Marvel
of
in 09.
So
even Iron Man wasn't Disney.
I wonder if Iron Man was part of. Well, I know when Disney bought them, Marvel, they basically said you can buy us, but we contain the production and the creative licensing for the movies themselves. Otherwise, they would have. I think the deal would have been completely off altogether. But I mean, this movie had $110 million. $110. Hold on, I'm making a movie for $110. Oh. How much of that was Nick Cage? Did he get the $100 bill or the $10 bill?
Yeah, it feels like it had a $110 budget.
Yeah,
just based on
damn certain.
They probably paid the writers $110 collectively. I'll say
the writer, which is the director.
He was the same guy.
Yeah, the director wrote the movie.
Oh my god!
But so it had $110
million.
Who gives
that much power after making Daredevil?
People thought that was the golden standard for comic movies because it was comic booky. Anyways,
I'm angry. I don't know why I'm angry.
But $110 million budget. It actually grossed $228.7 million. So it actually made its money back. Then doubled it.
They say you need to double your budget in order for a movie to make the money back because you also need to pay for
marketing and all that.
So to double your money is to essentially break even.
So they made a little more than double.
They made $8 million,
which paid Nick Cage.
Nick Cage in this movie.
Nick Cage in any movie.
I mean, no. Nick Cage is the weirdest actor because, like, he's way out there and amazing, and then there's just, like, hammy performances.
Name an amazing movie with him in it. Like
Face Off.
No, I don't think that's amazing.
Con Air.
Again, not amazing.
I discussed a little bit. I need to find a good Nick Cage movie.
Anyway, so you had talked about in the opening scene, young Nick Cage, played by I don't know who.
Not a good young Nick Cage. Young Eva
he didn't
Mendes
look like
is
absolutely
spot on.
So Janice watched this movie with me, and we had that conversation too. She was like, "That's supposed to be Nick Cage." Like she didn't realize that was supposed to be Nick Cage until Nick Cage showed up, and she was like, "What? I was like, "No, that's a flashback scene, and that's supposed to be." She's like, "It looks nothing like him." I was like, "Oh, I know."
It was about.
But yeah, I agree with you. The
Mendes,
actress who got I would 100% believe that was Eva Menendez. But yeah, so you have Mephisto.
We have your Fisto.
We have your Fisto.
Kick-Ass was good, but it was because Nick Cage needed to be hammy. And so anyway, I'm trying to find where he was actually a good actor.
Keep looking. I'll give you a minute. So he comes in. You have the original Ghost Rider, who's not Nick Cage. Spoiler alert, it's Sam Elliott that shows up later in the movie.
But it's immediately evident. As soon as he shows up, he just starts saying things. You're like, okay, so you're Ghost Rider. You are the Ghost Rider that you keep talking about of legend.
Right, which he says, every generation has one. Well, no, they don't, because Johnny Blaze is the first Ghost Rider in Marvel's universe, so therefore, no.
Yeah, there's just Gone in 60 Seconds?
That actually was a good movie.
Yeah, all right.
I'll give you that one.
All right, I'm done looking now.
But I found that might be more Angelina Jolie than Nick Cage.
I do love some Angie Jolie.
I'm saying. So yeah, you have Sam Elliott's Ghost Rider, who...
I do want to say, Sam Elliott is the only person in this movie that is trying. Like, he has some good scenes in this movie.
Absolutely. Anything Sam Elliott goes into, he comes in 100%, and he does amazing work.
He's the only one that didn't make me, like, put my face...
face palm?
Yeah, face palm. At any point. Like, he's the only one that's like, okay, yeah, I believe, I guess, what you're saying.
So, you had talked about earlier that you saw the original Ghost Rider run away from Mephisto, the devil, with the contract. Yep. My first thought was, it's the devil. Does he not have the capability to be anywhere? Which you see him just suddenly shift in on different places later in the movie.
He can't be on hallowed ground, though.
Until he can be.
Yep.
But why couldn't he just, like, show up in front of the Ghost Rider and be like, nope, that's mine?
Yeah, he can warp.
He literally changes, but you see him do it later in the movie, where he's just like popping from place to place to place to place.
But the Ghost Rider that ran away from the devil was also on horseback, so like, why couldn't the devil just like trip the horse?
I'm saying
just casually walk up and grab it.
Something. But again, the movie would have been over within the first 5 seconds. But hey, whatever.
That would have been a better movie.
They would have Columbia Pictures would have saved some money at that point.
Yeah, that would have been a $110 budget. Okay, so my initial note: Mephistopheles is not the devil. Like, he is not.
No.
Like, he's not in.
He's a demon.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and they immediately did, before they even call him Mephistopheles, they call him the devil, and then he immediately starts getting referenced as Mephistopheles.
Yeah. It's
Mephisto. Also, the contract was too powerful. What does that mean? They don't talk about that.
It's just full of like 1,000 souls. Yeah. What makes it so powerful? One? Yeah. Like, and why was these souls so damned? Like,
the whole city?
They kind of spark on it a little bit for the town. That, you know, but they didn't really go into what made all these souls so damned and why it mattered to Mephistopheles. What did he use that for? Or what did he want it for?
What did the souls do?
Yeah.
I know, like, in the comic book universe, Mephisto collects souls. Like, that's just what he does.
That's his thing. Yeah.
The movie doesn't explain that.
No.
Like, it's just like, he's collecting this contract of souls. That was my Sam Elliott impression.
Spot on.
Why? Yeah. Still just talking about the opening narration. The best line in the movie, in my opinion. Well, the thing about legends is sometimes they're real.
That's absolutely true, 100%, except there never are. Legends are never true. Legends are blown out of proportion stories to make things larger than life.
But just...
So therefore, by definition, no, it's not Sam
Even
Elliott.
just the way
no,
it
it's
was
not.
said.
Right.
And then 2 minutes later, when Mephisto is propositioning Johnny to like save his dad's life, Johnny's like, no, he's gonna have a classic one. I need to stop doing these impressions. They're not good. But I'm going to keep doing them. Mephisto just goes, well, the thing about cancer is the time it takes. So apparently, Stephen Mark Johnson, or Mark Stephen Johnson, I hate his name now.
So many first names.
He loves the phrase, the thing about X is Y. Twice in 2 minutes.
He's using his 8th and 9th grade geometry to its fullest. X equals Y because Z.
Yeah, and his 7th grade English creative writing class.
Exactly.
Would probably agree with that.
I would agree with that.
Use what you know. Apparently, he knows the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem.
And then when Johnny Blaze goes, oh, well, what'll it take? He goes, oh, I'll take your soul. Like, it was said like that. Like, he sounded excited. He's like, oh, I'll take your soul. Like, why are you saying it like that?
I got so irritated by the most ham-fisted way that the director showed that Mephisto was the devil in this. Like, in this original, because you see, like, the lightning starts hitting, the lights are flashing, he's walking up in these menacing dark clothes, he's got a pimp cane with a skull on it, he's got like glowing eyes. How more apparent do you have to be to tell the audience, this guy's not very good? Like, you could have literally just been like, yeah, that guy's the devil. Even if you want to call him a fest, just say he's the devil. We'll be like, got it.
Well, you're familiar with Show Don't Tell, but this is an an example of maybe show a little less. And
show a lot less.
Tell us a little.
By, I mean, all of it. You don't need any of this. Though the pimp cane's not the last time that shows back up.
No, it's in the whole movie. He's just walking around with it.
Well, even Johnny Cage got the pimp cane later.
Stop saying Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage. It's 100% Johnny Cage.
I wish we covered Mortal Kombat. And you're just reminding me that we could have watched a more entertaining movie.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, maybe. We should have talked about what we're going to do next week. Anyway, okay, so that's enough for the flashback scenes. Flash forward to current day Nicolas Cage jumping motorcycles. He can't do it because he closes his eyes mid-jump. First of all, that's enough to kill you. But when he closes his eyes, you see a bunch of devil faces and stuff. So
why all of a sudden in that scene is the first time he remembers the past? Like, that is not the time to have a flashback of your past.
That's not the time to close your eyes and reflect on yourself either.
And we're just going to gloss over the fact that he does his magic fingers, his 3-finger Ninja Turtle grasp thing in the air.
Yeah, I'm going to gloss over that. I prefer to not. Think about it.
I mean, come on, it's not the first time he does. Well, it's the first time he does it, but it's not the last time he does it.
No, it's. I wish I counted how many times that happens. It's at least.
I would
10.
love to see how many times Nicolas Cage actually does that gesture in movies, because I know he does it in other movies. I know he does it in Gone in 60 Seconds.
I'm saying this movie specifically, with just the weird point that is so over the top.
Or if people are literally like within an arm's length away, they're pointing at each other.
Yeah.
Well, do you have to be close? Why are you so close? You got to point. There's only no one else in the room, no one else on the street, but you're pointing at the person in front of you.
The time in the movie when Mephisto shows back up to say like, "Hey, you're gonna be Ghost Rider now," when he does that, Nick Cage does this awkward, weird point thing at him, and then it zooms out kind of thing to show that they're like 11 feet away from each other.
Right.
And they're the only two people in this
That's what I'm saying.
What are you
You don't need to point.
Why are you pointing?
No kidding, it's him. He's the only one there.
I wish, like, when he did that point and it showed Mephisto there, like...
He just broke his finger?
He moved to the side to show that he was pointing at somebody behind him.
Oh, sorry, dude, but you're in the way.
You stole my bike last week, or like something like that.
Yeah.
Like, just at least be aware that your movie sucks, and like throw some like jokes
campy,
in
dude.
Yeah, campy. That I wish this was more intentionally campy, because
it's
there's
not.
so much unintentional camp. So after he wrecks the bike or whatever, he's on the bus with his buddies. His best friend of years apparently doesn't know that he doesn't drink, because his friends immediately like, "Why don't you drink beer and like
it gives me nightmares.
Relax with us?" He's like, "You should know beer drink
gives you nightmares."
What gives him nightmares? Accent.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
It gives him nightmares. But like, it's implied that these guys have been like best friends for years. How does he not know that?
Can we speak a minute for he's eating the yellow and red
that was my next
jelly beans out of the martini glass? What the hell is that? Why?
So
who's that for?
Yellow and red, I guess, is like, ooh, fire.
Ooh,
he's fire.
We're starting to allude that he's actually Ghost Rider. No kidding.
So my note,
we know he's Ghost Rider.
My note is he refuses to drink, but he drinks jelly beans out of a martini glass to try and fit in with the drinking crowd.
Oh yeah, must be. I mean, everybody's got to.
Why else would you drink out of a martini glass?
That is a weird.
Put him in a pint glass. Later too. Put him in a bowl. Why?
But counter to that, you see him later doing the same thing, and no one's drinking around him. He's got a freaking jar.
There. Same guy's there.
Yeah, but he's not drinking. That's the only scene where anybody's drinking. But we've seen two scenes with him and the jelly beans in the martini glass, and it's never explained why he has this.
I love.
You think that was Nick Cage was like, "I need a martini glass in my hand."
Beans. When he says that line.
Are they Jelly Bellies?
Oh, we're gonna pause for a second.
1 sec. All right, Carl. No more party fouls for you.
Okay, so anybody in the world that has met me before knows I'm clumsy as all hell, and I just spilled beer all over Shipper's couch. However, we're back. We're back, baby, and the couch is as dry as it's gonna bit. Luckily, most of the beer seeped into my gym shorts. Ghost Rider. Carry on.
Back to, because I'm not touching on a 10-foot pole.
Back to Ghost Rider.
So the first time you see Blackheart,
oh my god,
you got the bus. And the bus drives by, and you got the storm in the background.
Of course,
it's raining, it's pouring, because atmosphere is everything in these movies.
Atmosphere.
And this movie is nothing but atmosphere. There's nothing else.
Let's call it atmosphere.
And all of a sudden, you see start firing and brimstone falling from the sky. And then you see a guy in black walking out of the storm. And then a jump scare to show that he's like,
what is he walking at? Why is he in the middle of the desert walking? Why is it?
Did the director actually think that people are going to watch this movie in the dark, in a secluded room, in a soundproof booth or something like that? Like, what is with this jump scare? It's not the first time. Yeah. It's not the last time. Jump scares need to come out of movies, and thankfully you don't see them anymore. But,
well, I mean, a jump scare in like an actual horror movie, like the Paranormal Activity series.
Yeah,
there's a lot of jump scares with that, but it works within that universe. What the hell is this?
I don't know.
What? Why?
It's a very ham-fisted attempt at showing that he's evil, quote unquote.
A demon, scary teeth.
Scary teeth.
Scary teeth.
Yeah.
That's
you
not the first time scary teeth happens. It's not the last time scary teeth happens. This whole movie's scary teeth.
So the movie is about atmosphere, scary teeth, and daddy issues.
Yeah.
This whole movie.
I guess. And explosions for some reason at some point.
Anyways, digress. So you get Blackheart. He walks up to a bar. Why he's walking to a bar? No clue.
Set up a punchline.
Basically. So you get the bouncer outside who's,
being a dick to a waitress.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And he
Thought
sees...
you would have been here quicker with my beer.
Asshole, you can go inside and get it. There's no one. There's not a line. What do you need a bouncer for? There's no one trying to get in this bar.
Was he a bouncer or was he one of the bikers that just
No, I think he was
decided
a
to
bouncer.
stand outside?
No, I'm pretty sure he was a bouncer, but maybe.
Whatever.
But Blackheart walks up, and Blackheart's this dapper-looking demon because why not?
Yeah, dapper demon.
Dapper demons. And the bouncer's like, only angels are allowed in this bar.
So you do impressions too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
It's not just me.
No,
All right.
of course I wouldn't let you hang on that nail by yourself.
I do appreciate that.
But,
okay, so angels in the
So
bar.
the implication is we're talking about the angels in a biker bar. It's a ham-fisted way to saying Hell's Angels, the notorious biker gang that
You're trying to slide it on the door.
Sure.
Throwing it in your face.
Sure.
All right.
Which, if we're saying Hell's Angels, we're talking about fallen angels, which demons are
Mephisto
exactly a fallen. So yes, exactly. He's allowed in this bar because that's exactly what it's for.
So he should have this is the time where you need to be campy. This is why the modern Marvel movies, they excel, because they can acknowledge when they write a ridiculous scene, and Tony Stark will come back with a little quip like that. Blackheart should have been well, I'll fit right in, and then killed the guy.
Yeah,
That's
there
what he
should be
have
something come back, and then instead he's just like, yep, sucking your soul out.
Then he just kills him.
But all of a sudden, when you suck your soul out, suddenly you're blue, like you've been sitting in an ice box for a while.
You turn into a frozen body. You didn't know
but
that?
sucked down, you become decrepit.
I'm surprised you didn't know that.
Oh, it's been a while since I've sucked somebody's soul out. Apparently.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I hate this movie.
This movie's so bad.
I hate this.
Anyways.
Okay.
Digress.
Are we at the part where he's trying to do the football field jump yet? Can we talk about
Oh, you mean
that?
the 300 yards or 300 feet?
Hold on. Yeah, we need to talk about it. So, he's supposed to be jumping a football field now. His best friend,
which he's got the pimp cane in.
Yep,
Again, we're doing another
he has
pimp
the
cane. Why he has a pimp cane? No idea. It's never explained. It doesn't do anything. It's just a pimp cane.
Yeah, he has it because he wants to be stylish. His best friend, who's the dad.
I mean, it is
from the
2007,
show-
so of course pimp canes.
Yeah, they're stylish at the time. He's got the
And leather jackets, because everybody has one in 2007. Because everyone in this movie has a leather jacket.
Yeah.
Continue.
His best friend, played by the dad from the TV show Grounded for Life.
Yes,
Don't
good show.
know his name. I used to love.
He was
that
also Harvey Dent. Not Harvey Dent.
He was never Harvey.
No.
Dent.
he was Bullock. He was Harvey Bullock in the show Gotham.
Never saw the show Gotham.
Oh, it's such a good. He
That's
plays
what I
that
hear.
he plays that character really well. He's a good actor.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Okay, but that's just what I know him from.
Sure.
He's trying to talk. The dad from Grounded for Life is trying to talk Nicolas Cage out of doing this jump, saying it's suicide, it's stupid, and all this. And then Nicolas Cage, there's all these interviewers. And he's like, "Hey, can we get an interview real quick?" And they're like, "Oh, one thing you don't know about Johnny Blaze is he never does interviews unless it's by Eva Mendes."
Unless it's his ex, because she just showed up randomly.
Somehow.
Can we step back for a second? Why is it that he's able to drink a pot of coffee and no one has any idea?
Yeah.
No one makes a comment. We see him crash, obviously, which we didn't discuss, but he does crash, and he gets up, and everybody's concerned, but it's not the first time he crashes. Mm-hmm. He's constantly crashing
because he's known as the guy who can't die, essentially.
Right. He defies death, and he's drinking coffee, and the guy, the dad from
I'm going to look his name up so we can stop saying the dad from Grounded for Life.
But he's Johnny Blaze, because I want to say Cage.
Johnny Cash. Man, you're all over the place.
He takes a pot of coffee off the boiler or off the heater plate and he drinks it straight up. But his friend doesn't even bat an eye about it.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
I don't care how many times you see that. You're still going to be like, that should hurt.
That's boiling coffee. Well, not boiling, but you know what I mean. It was on the coffee machine.
It was freshly brewed.
Thing.
Sitting there, yeah.
So his name is Donal Logue. And I don't like that at all. His character's name is Mac, so we're going to refer to him as Mac.
Mac, yeah.
Yeah.
He's always a Mac.
Yeah, he's
something.
Mac. He's Mac. So he does the jump, even though they fly helicopters in to make it scarier because his dad said it would be scary.
What's with the helicopters? That CG. Who believes that helicopters are there? The smoke doesn't even move.
Also, what stadium is it in 2007 that has a roof that's that large and that retractable? I would love to know, because the Arizona Cardinals have a stadium like that.
That's your role. I don't know anything about football stadiums. But you see them there. The grass doesn't even move. No, the smoke that's coming up from the pyrotechnics that are on either side of the helicopters don't move except up. If there were that many Black Hawk helicopters in there, people would be deafened. No one would hear a damn thing, and they would be all ducking. I don't know about you, but I've been near a helicopter, helicopter.
Yep.
And it's loud. It's windy. There's no effing way.
Like if it was me to you, like me and you trying to have a conversation with a helicopter 150 feet away from us, we'd be screaming at the top of our lungs at each other.
Absolutely.
And these are like F-16 helicopters. That like massive things coming in. So
and there's like what, 6 of them? I think
6 of them.
Yeah. And there's no way 2 helicopters are going to land next to each other. They would blow each other sideways.
Yeah. And there's 6 of them.
So they're just doing this.
They land in unison.
Right.
So this is my buddy.
I'm pretty sure they ran out of money in the budget of the CG for this.
Oh yeah, they had to have.
They spent all their money on like one transition for Ghost Rider, and the rest of it is just
almost would have turned the movie off. Anyway, my buddy Dan first pointed this to me out. He does the jump, the whole football field, goalpost to goalpost, but they keep mentioning that it's 300 feet. Like he's gonna jump 300 feet. Right. The announcer says a new world record, 300 feet. Okay, a football stadium. Like a football field is
100 yards.
100 yards. And goalpost to goalpost is 10 additional yards each. So that's 120 yards. That's like 400 feet. Or no, yeah.
No, it's 420.
420 feet. So it's a new world record at 300 feet.
But he really jumped
420 feet.
Right.
So he shattered whatever this world
I
record
also love
was.
how like there was no actual arc to that
never
jump.
An arc.
It's just like straight across the over the top. Like at any point he should have fallen down like this.
Yeah.
Physics should have kicked in at some point in this jump.
No,
but no, he just kind of sailed across.
It was a man on strings just soaring across the sky. So the movie, it doesn't even care to do enough research of like what a football field is,
or how physics work,
or anything. But just like you couldn't even like actually convert feet to yards or yards to feet, sorry, and then you didn't take goalpost to goalpost. Don't say goalpost to goalpost if you don't want me to acknowledge that like from the end of the field to the goalpost is an additional 10 yards. So that's an additional 20 yards. So just say he's jumping a football field and then do the proper 100-yard conversion.
Yeah.
Like, why are you pointing out to me that you're even more wrong than you are?
Because most people who watch this movie don't do the math, Carl. Apparently people who make the movie don't do the math either, but...
Shout out to Dan, he's an engineer, so, like, he knows how to convert things. And, like, he
grabbed his graphing calculator. He was like, wait a second.
Yeah, he texted me last night. He's like, does this movie know what math is? Like,
no, they don't know anything.
No, they don't, Dan. You're right. You should be on this movie. But no, because then I'd be mad at you.
Go back, a second here. So you have the interview, which, again, we talked about. He never does interviews, except if it's Eva Menendez, because this is his ex-girlfriend, which he hasn't seen. Which, I don't know how he hasn't seen, because they know of each other, because he talks about, I've seen you on the news, and she obviously knows him because he's famous. So, the two of each other know each other.
Can I pause you for a second here? I have this note, actually. In what world is a stuntman this famous?
Well,
where like people are stopping on the street, like,
sure,
and like running up, like in crowds,
right.
running up.
So after the interview, after he does the jump, he goes and chases her down in his van and stuff like that.
In the worst green screen I've ever seen.
I had to show. So like so he does the whole thing and you see him go around the backside of the passenger and then come back around the front, and they did a really bad CG of his face onto the stunt driver, because it's obviously a stunt driver.
But also, he's on a motorcycle, but his shoulders are higher than the person driving the van.
Yeah.
So like it just, ugh. And it's such obvious green screen that it's just like a default background flying by him behind him.
Oh yeah.
It's trash.
But you also get the default driver who's doing the side to side.
Yeah.
Have you ever driven a car doing this? You've been doing this, and you'd be swerving all the road, and the
He's
cop would pull
holding
you
at
over.
10 and 2, and his like range of motion is literally 9 and 3.
Why is that always the default driving setting in movies?
God.
Are we dodging potholes? Are we dodging people standing in the middle of the road?
Slalom? Whatever that down skiing thing is called.
Slalom, yeah. But but how much of this movie is Nick Cage acting versus Nick Cage in real life? You just like, the interview is just cringy as fuck.
Yeah.
He's sitting there and he's just
staring
staring
at good.
You look good. I heard you got married. No, it didn't happen.
I watch on TV sometimes.
Yeah. What else is he doing while he's watching her on TV?
He's watching ape fights on TV or whatever we established earlier in the movie.
And bad cartoons from like the 50s.
Yeah.
With the skeleton.
He has a video game made after him. We didn't even discuss that.
Yeah. All of a sudden he's in a video game. Yeah, and then that was
like, in what world is the stuntman so popular they have their own video game? Like, crowds of people. Okay.
But again, he's never talked to Eva Menendez ever since he left her standing under the tree in the pouring rain.
But he watches her on TV.
Why did he show up at the pouring rain at the tree?
Why did he even show up?
What? He was going to leave her, but he left her standing. He should have just never come. What's the point?
Yeah. So he does that move where he pulls in front of the bike to stop the van, and then he gets off the bike and they talk to the side, and then a minute later the van just pulls away.
Yeah.
He never moves the bike. That's just attention to detail.
And why did people from the back of that
know who he was?
Right. You have this long line
crowd of people.
You have this long line of cars and whatever stopped on the highway, and everybody's running up like he's the greatest thing. Maybe 2-3 cars back, you would see, okay, you have Johnny. But 10 cars lanes
it's a crowd.
You're done.
It's a full crowd of people charging him.
Can you sign my sister's thing?
Yeah.
First of all, that dude and that girl, there was no way they were brother and sister. You know what I'm talking about? The guy who's like, can you sign my sister?
I believe my palm was up to my face at this point.
You were just blocking things out of his
Yeah.
Oh my god. Digress.
Anyway, Eva Mendes agrees to a dinner with him, to which she brings a magic 8-ball for some reason.
Because everyone in 2007 carried magic 8-balls, Carl. Don't you know this?
I forgot. I'm sorry.
They also made the mini ones. You would have thought she would have carried the mini one.
Nope, full size.
Full size.
And she shakes it, which you're not supposed to do.
No.
But, I mean, that's probably my least harsh criticism about this movie, is she shakes that.
He doesn't
this
show
is a
up.
fancy restaurant, too. Also, she's at the restaurant, like...
Because he stands her up, because, for reasons.
But she's at the restaurant already, getting nervous that he's running late. It cuts to him in the mirror saying, don't be afraid to do this, don't be afraid to do this.
Why does he have to keep telling himself, don't be afraid? He does it when he jumps, too.
She's at the place waiting for him. He still intends to go there, but he's already...
late.
I assume
he's already late.
Yeah. Talking to himself in the mirror.
Yeah, he's got to pump himself up. And then when he doesn't show up because he turns into a Ghost Rider for the first time, she pulls the waiter and she's like, "Am I pretty?" Fuck, you're Evan Menendez.
It's Eva Mendes. Yes, you are gorgeous.
And the waiter's like,
yeah,
F you, dude. F you.
I assume the only way to write this off is that waiter was gay, because but even like
even gay dudes would be like, you're pretty.
A gay man would be like, yes, you are a very attractive woman. There's no man on earth that's going to go meh if Eva Mendes says.
Well, Eva Mendes married one of the most beautiful men in the world.
Ryan Gosling is top 5 most beautiful men in the world.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you need to be an attractive woman to get a man of that kind of attraction.
And at this point, she's been in 2007. She's a very prolific career. I mean, she was in Hitch, and she's been in other things. At some point,
Hitch.
That's a good movie.
Note, but carry on.
That's a good movie. I've seen it.
It's not, but I love it. Carry on.
No, it's a good movie. I think it's a good movie in the sense that it's more realistic in a love story kind of setting, in a Hollywood love story.
It projects a lot of toxic male stereotypes, though.
I could see that. Yeah, anyway, I agree with that.
Way off topic.
Back to, but in this time she also has, she has a clothing line and things like that. Like, this woman is stunning and arguably probably the best looking woman you see anywhere in the entire movie.
Oh, without doubt in the movie. It's almost as if, like, you
got to question
earlier.
this.
It's almost as if Eva Mendes had it written into the contract that she needs to be like a 10 in a sea of 5s. Like, you it's in a contract, something like that.
Yeah, she has to be the best looking woman in the movie.
Yeah,
which I would agree. Even in the movie Hitch, she's still the best looking woman in the entire city of New York. You see in the movie.
The woman that plays Allegra Cole is also very attractive.
Oh, absolutely, but not as hot as Eva Mendes.
Eva Mendes is very attractive, but I digress. All of this is off topic.
She's never off topic. What are you talking
about? What were we talking about?
So after that, you get Blackheart and Mephistopheles finally confront each other on what they called hollow ground.
We'll call it hollow ground.
No, he calls it hollow ground. He calls it hollow ground. He says, "You can't attack me here, Daddy, because I'm on hollow ground." But he doesn't say Daddy. He calls him Mephisto. And then he's like, "Son, this, that, and the other." And then he says, "We're going to get my daddy." Because he calls in his 3 demons, which are really...
Why did you call them in earlier?
I don't know.
They're the elements. I respect...
They're elements, but they're fallen angels. Since when in biblical lore are fallen angels associated with elements?
Right. But
demons, fallen angels, different.
I do respect that the movie tries to create this scenario where it's like the elements divided, because wind, water, earth are on the side of evil, and then fire is Ghost Rider.
Sure. Yeah, but you get this elemental. Yeah,
I respect. No, I don't. I understand it.
Respect. No.
I understand that.
But yeah, it's these. Can we talk about the elements for a second? They are the worst battles in the entire movie.
Okay, the worst thing in the entire movie is the first time that Nick Cage turns into
the Ghost Rider. Think that's the best opportunity to see him change into, not so much Nick Cage's action, because you get him going. I
literally, my note is I wanted to turn it off. I would have turned it off if it wasn't for this podcast.
I think it's the best CG representation of Ghost Rider at that point.
I was distracted.
I didn't say it was the best.
How terrible.
Well, yeah, him going He was,
that was my best Nick Cage impression I could do.
It's pretty spot on. So, but the battles that Ghost Rider has with the elements, it's literally a 10-second battle that's one-sided. The elements don't even try to fight back.
I mean, I love water, where he just pulls him off a bike, and then he just touches them, and then water evaporates. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. And then air, he's battling, and he goes, "You can't catch air." Except when Ghost Rider then,
Fire tornado
with his chain, which... What the hell, man? You didn't even stick to the source material in the sense that... So we talked about the penance stare. And the penance stare that Ghost Rider has in the movie is that he seeps into the soul of the person.
The soul, because this comes back. It's specifically the soul of the person.
Right. And he makes them see the pain that he's caused on others and all this. And then he burns the soul within the person, and then they suddenly glaze over. Nicolas Cage, Johnny Blaze, doesn't have this capability.
Nicholas Blaze.
It's the next Ghost Rider who actually has a penance stare.
He's the one that, in like comic book lore, he's the one that gets... All right.
Until after this movie, Marvel retconned the comics to give him the penance stare, Johnny Blaze, after the movie. Like, it was the worst concept. Like, keep him to what he is. And I understand they did it as a ham-fisted way to kill Blackheart at the end.
But also, like, penance stare is what Ghost Rider is known for.
Right.
Like, if anybody knows comics and you say Ghost Rider, what's his move? If you know the character...
Flaming members.
Flaming members?
Flaming member.
I would say penance there. You need penance there. But I lost my train of thought. angry. This movie makes me angry.
You know what's interesting about this movie, though, is that we get the introduction of Rebel Wilson.
I wrote that down. Yeah,
it's the Australian actress everybody's familiar with. She was in Bridesmaids and things like that of nature. This is the first American movie she was in,
and it's a little bit part, but she plays her weird self. Like she does some quirky shit
when she's in that interview. Yeah, I actually like her in this movie just because her character always stuck out to me, even from forever years ago that I saw the movie originally. Like it's just an interesting little part. There's nothing about it per se. It's just quirky.
Well, this is like the first time I've seen this movie.
This is really the first time you've seen this movie?
Yeah. So it immediately stood out to me that was Rebel Wilson because.
But I remember her in this movie going, and Janice and my wife and I will make a random comment about the like just randomly in conversation because we as people do they make references in regular conversation. But yeah, this is the first time you see her in a U.S. movie. Before that, she's a fairly well-known actress in Australia at this point.
The Aussies are taking over.
I actually looked her up. She actually wrote her own musicals in Australia and staged them. So she was prevalent. And then she came to the U.S. But
we have too many notes left for this amount of time at this point. So
this movie's so terrible.
I know.
There's too much to talk about.
We're going to try and wrap it in the next
few minutes.
15 to 20 minutes, I'm going to say. Okay, so first of all, how long was Eva Mendes at the restaurant? Because he turned into Ghost Rider and did a ton of shit, and then she's still at the restaurant, like at least 4 hours.
And downing bottles of wine at this point.
Yeah.
And do you love me? How pretty am I? Come on. You've been stood up for 30 minutes. You walk away.
Yeah.
At most.
I'd give you an hour.
And then
I would give you an hour.
I would give you an hour.
Well, I'm saying, we're close friends. Yeah. I would give you an hour. These people have not talked in 20 years, and she gave it 4.5 at least.
I would at least text you, be like, hey, I'm on my way, or hey,
texting didn't exist.
No, it's 2007. I had my first...
Texting existed in 2007, I'll tell you.
I had my first cell phone in 2002, and it was still prevalent at that point. I had Nokia, the old brick.
That was when text cost you a dime a piece, though. So maybe you wanted to save that dime.
World famous Johnny Blaze, multi-billionaire.
You want to save that dime?
Got to save that dime.
So he comes out of Ghost Rider mode, and Sam Elliott's taking care of him. It's immediately evident that Sam Elliott is more than just a gravedigger.
Oh, you mean he's standing there in front of the Carter Slade grave, staring at it longingly?
Explaining lore while he's doing it.
Spoiler alert, Sam Elliott is Carter Slade, which, interesting, Carter Slade was Ghost Rider in the Marvel comics before Marvel created Johnny Blaze. Then they turned the Carter Slade character into the Phantom Rider, not Ghost Rider.
So they retconned Ghost Rider so that Johnny Blaze would be the first
original
Ghost
Rider.
So
again,
is that because of this movie?
No, it happened before the movie.
Good.
It actually happened when
I was about to get real mad.
So they released Carter Slade's Ghost Rider back in late 60s. And then they came up with Johnny Blaze to be more current with I think they really made
instead of a horse.
Yeah, I think they really made Johnny Blaze as kind of a Evel Knievel character when Evel Knievel was prevalent. Because you think about the 70s.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That was a big thing then.
That makes sense. I mean, Johnny Blaze is probably the most famous Ghost Rider name.
Yeah, absolutely.
Before any of this.
I mean, his last name is Blaze. He's got the flaming. It just makes sense. It's stupid.
Anyway. The only two Ghost Riders I knew before going into this were Johnny Blaze and Robbie Reyes. They were the only two names.
Did you know Robbie Reyes from the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, I knew it. I played Marvel Puzzle Quest.
Oh,
and
fair
Robbie
enough.
Reyes is the character.
Fair enough. And I remember writing down police brutality 3 times in this movie.
Oh my god!
The police here are terrible.
My god!
Obviously right now is a bad time
given the current situation.
Right, it's a bad situation right now. But these are some again, movie from 2007. But the director, who's the writer, obviously has no idea of how proper police work happens. You have one point where a police officer slaps Ghost Rider across the face with his baton. Yeah. And you have the broken jaw, and he comes back.
Because it's a cool scene or whatever.
Right.
But the police officer says, hey, you stop. He stops and turns, and the police officer
jacks
him with his baton to break the... It's like, okay, that's a war crime. Like, that's not only is it illegal in the United States, that's an international war crime that you just committed.
It's attempted murder at the minimum.
For someone that, like, was complying with your command.
Well, and then at the end, you see the line of police officers with their guns drawn, and Ghost Rider comes down the building, and Ava Menendez walks towards him.
First of all, how did she get through all those cops? She's at the front. It's literally Eva Mendes and Nick Cage as Ghost Rider standing.
Well, they also let her go in front when they were still doing the scene investigation. They had all the little evidence markers, and she's standing there doing it. Her broadcast.
Chief of police or whatever.
Yeah, he's a captain. But yeah, she's doing her broadcast next to evidence markers. They're still doing scene work.
This is.
But going back, the chief, the captain goes, "Open fire!" She's in front of all the guns, and they all just start shooting. And she's not hurt.
Just a civilian in front of everything.
Like, oh my god.
There's one scene where Nick Cage just stares at himself in the mirror for no reason whatsoever.
I think that's really Nicolas Cage loves to look at himself.
He's shredded for this movie.
My wife goes, somebody's been working out for this movie.
Yeah.
It was literally her comment at that point.
Like, he is absolutely shredded.
For no reason whatsoever.
And he wears a jacket for the entire movie except
with shoulder pads.
One scene.
Shoulder pads.
And spikes and everything.
Spikes.
He gets arrested.
Which he stole from a dude in jail.
Oh, yeah. Nice jacket.
Yeah.
That was Dark Knight. Anyway.
Close enough.
He gets arrested based solely on the fact that his license plate was at the scene of a crime at one point in time.
Right.
And then
never mind how long that thing has been there.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden, because it was there, they have no other link to anybody else.
Or anything.
And that's just wanton destruction. It has nothing to do with anything.
I don't even want to, like, do the cough thing, so I'll just go cough, cough, circumstantial at best. Cough, cough. Because I didn't want to cough.
A good lawyer will be able to argue that in about half a second and throw that out.
He couldn't get arrested on that. He could get questioned on that. He could not get arrested on that. Why does everybody in the prison cell want to beat him up? They're like, hey, I know you. You're Johnny Blaze. You're a famous guy. I paid $10 to watch you jump something. And then they just start beating him up.
He's done nothing to him.
He's a celebrity. He get treated like a god.
I will say that in that scene, they do the comic books well, because in the comic books, he changes when he's in the presence of great evil, and he's in that one room
where everybody wants to beat up people because
they're all criminals.
Yeah,
well, I mean, they're criminals, and that's why at the end of that scene, he points to the one kid in the corner. He's like, innocent, which is more Mortal Kombat. Get over here! More than anything.
Innocent. I can't do it. It's terrible.
That's close enough.
Terrible. Why did the prisoners want to beat him up? I don't know. He then gets out of jail by melting the bars, obviously. He's
sure, why not?
Superhuman skull creature. He gets on.
He just like touches it, it just...
He's going out. This is when the police brutality, where the guy just
domes him in the face
with the baton.
Didn't even try to at least aim for the arm. Like, didn't even try.
No, it was blatant war crime.
Yeah.
Ghost Rider...
You said war crimes, not war. It's police brutality.
I'm going to continue to say war crime. Let's get this going again. The screen went tired. I just want to make sure it's still recording. Yep, okay. So at that point, he literally just points at the officer, and you think he's going to say guilty or innocent, because that's some kind of thing that they've been doing anyways. And he just wags.
Well, he's Judge Judy executioner.
Yeah, he is Judge Judy and executioner.
Educationer.
Anyway, so he just does that, gets on his motorcycle, and then drives away, and everything explodes as he drives away. And there was a sign...
Well, that was before, too, where it's just wanton destruction because, yes.
But this specific one, there was a sign that said garage with an arrow. The sign explodes, but then it turns back on, but only the G and the A are burnt out. So it's just a sign that says rage.
Well, we want to make sure that you know, as an that Ghost Rider's mad.
That sign accurately depicted how I was feeling watching that movie.
Rage.
Oh, also, when the cops are all shooting at him, they're lifting their thumb off the gun each time they pull the trigger. I missed that. I don't know if you saw that. They're lifting their thumb and resetting their grip in between each shot. So it's literally trigger pull, essentially both hands come off the gun. It's like a Mickey Mouse cartoon. If Mickey Mouse shotguns, like it is the most
That's the darkest Disney reference ever.
It is the most comical shooting form I've ever seen in a movie.
And a little bit of combat training would go a long way.
Just any. Teach somebody how to hold a gun.
Yeah. So move forward here to the finale. You get Carter Slade goes, I got one more ride in me. That is
Sam Elliott.
Yeah. Carter Slade, Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott's the actor, Carter Slade's the character.
Oh.
That is literally the worst transformation in the entire effing movie. From him just going, and all of a sudden, the flames shoot up, and his horse, and Sam Elliott becomes the rider.
And then they become dicks to lizards.
Yes, go flying through the desert, and all of a sudden the lizard catches on fire. Why? What was the point? Why?
They're going through the desert. There's a lizard on a rock. It bursts into flames, turns into a skeleton, and dies. What did that lizard do? Was that lizard guilty? Judge Judy?
I want to know if there was no animals were harmed in the filming of this movie at the end of that credit scene.
It wasn't a real lizard.
No, I understand that, but you know, Peter. But yeah, what was the point of them killing off that lizard that was sitting there doing nothing? And it's at night in the desert. The lizard is not out.
Yeah,
the lizard is held up somewhere else.
It should have been an owl or a cactus. No in between.
Right.
That lizard, it's cold-blooded. It's not out on a desert evening.
And then you have Sam Elliott go, "This is my last ride," and he shows up and he goes, "All right, I'm out," and he turns back and leaves.
They get to a point that's roughly a mile, I'm going to say, from where Nick Cage actually needs to be. And then Sam Elliott turns off Ghost Rider mode and goes, that was the last time I could do that. He's that way. And then he just disappears.
Well, like before he turned to Ghost Rider, he said it's 500 miles that way. He literally could have just stuck with that. And
so like, I'll see you ride 495 with him then.
Why did he ride at all? Like, he could literally just be like, I'll see you later, man.
Nick Cage could use him at that final battle, probably.
Probably, but F that, all he had. And then he disappears into the night. And then
he just vanishes.
Ghost Rider goes from
why did he desert
to bail? I don't know.
Desert to swamp. Yeah,
desert?
I know what you're going for.
He goes from a desert, and then he's in a swamp where he fights the water demon.
Who he just burned.
He yelled at him. Yelled at him.
And then the motorcycle comes up. He's like honk honk. He gets back on it and it's back to the desert.
It's back to the desert. Where'd the water come from? Where'd the water go? Like,
why even have the water guy as a creature?
Well, I understand that the water was a connection to the opening scene, but why? What's the point? You're in the desert. There's no water. There is, but there isn't.
Swamp desert. Desert swamp. Those famous desert swamps.
Desert swamps.
Also, he's riding his motorcycle, not as Ghost Rider, but as Nicolas Cage, across this swamp, implying that it's like very shallow. And then the water demon grabs him and pulls him in, and it's at least 20 feet deep.
Oh, absolutely. And again, he yelled at him and killed him.
Yeah, he screamed at him and
character fights ever.
Why even have the water pipe? Okay, so then Nick Cage shows up, hands the scroll of macadamia or whatever the hell it is. I don't even care to remember what it was called. He hands it over so that the guy can save Eva Mendez's life, but for some reason he brings a shotgun. Hands it over.
Somehow has the ability to actually hurt demons.
Yeah.
Before he turns into the Ghost Rider-esque shotgun.
Yeah, shotgun demon.
A regular buckshot is not going to make a damage on a demon.
I mean, you don't know demon.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say no, it wouldn't.
I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm just gonna point out that you don't know.
You're gonna play the devil's advocate.
I'm angry at you right now.
Oh, you got nothing to come back from that one.
I'm so angry. I lost my train of thought.
Anyway.
The guy opens the scroll and says, "This is the scroll of macadamia. Give yourself to me." That's all he says, and all the souls
fill into him.
The dead evil people soul into him, and then he just goes, "We are Legion,"
which is a separate Marvel property,
entirely different character. So my notes just say, "Shoehorned in Legion terribly." That's all I wrote.
But Legion, the character, is different than Legion in this. But digress.
And then, apparently, when the sun comes up, even in the presence of great evil,
Well, it's got to be dark and pretty evil.
Yeah, so Ghost Rider's...
So go find a shadow?
Ghost Rider's a vampire? Also, we didn't even mention... They say they can't... Sam Elliott says these bad guys can't step on hollowed ground. Even though they do it 5 times in the movie. So they can't step on
hollowed ground. Except when they can. Yeah, there's the scene where the Mephistopheles and Blackheart are together. And Blackheart says, "You can't hurt me because I'm a hollow ground."
There's a scene in a church.
Yeah, Blackheart is talking to the...
punks a priest out.
Right, in a church.
This scene is
the final battle is on...
And then they go into a church.
Yeah. It literally is. They can't go onto hollow ground until they can.
Well, you know what Blackheart, like, even in the comic books, you know what his armor is called, right? Plot armor.
Plot armor?
Oh, you missed the joke.
I missed it.
Plot armor, meaning like you can't be hurt because plot.
Oh, I get you.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
I'm angry. Yeah.
And the last thing I want to talk about...
Climax of the movie Ghost Rider doesn't feature Ghost Rider. It features Nick Cage and a magic shotgun.
It's true. Yeah, he's not Ghost Rider except for his arm up to about his elbow and the shotgun that magically changes.
Because reasons. Shadows or something?
Well, because he ran out of ammo, remember? That's the only reason why that exists is because Evan Menendez ran out of ammo shooting at Blackheart. She goes, "It's out of ammo." He goes, "It's okay." And all of a sudden it changes into and has this fancy filigree and whatnot.
Because shadows? Or just because the gun runs out of ammo?
Well, he's also...
Is that what happens? If my gun runs out of ammo, does that happen for me?
Only if you're Ghost Rider in the presence of great evil. That's the only reason when that would happen.
But the sun's up.
But again, let me end this by getting to the point of... You see twice in this movie when Ghost Rider's normal red-orange flame goes blue.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what's wrong with that.
It's because he's in love.
It's because he's in love.
So the flame should be red because love. That's your problem with it?
No. My problem with it is because the implication is that his ire and his anger dulls around her. So because blue... But... blue flame burns hotter than red flame by at least 500 Kelvin.
Yeah.
So it is actually opposite what it should be.
Yeah, so he gets hot. Well,
he gets hotter than the color.
Yeah, he's hot and bothered.
Yeah, that's right.
Whenever even Mendes comes around, he's
hot and bothered. Right. You would think he'd just run around like that all the time then.
Nick Cage. It's not even his fault. Or is it? I don't know.
Nah, he probably had a stake in this movie. Who knows?
So, to summarize...
greatest movie ever.
A magic shotgun shoots apparently quote-unquote Legion, and then...
Well, the only way you kill Blackheart is by letting him have all these souls, which we're going to... Right. The whole point was him getting the souls is to bring hell on Earth.
The way the movie ends, though, is now that Blackheart has inherited 1,000 evil souls or whatever, the penance stare will work on him, because Blackheart has no soul.
Johnny Blaze should never have.
Right, but... I mean, Nicolas Cage has it. So
that's right. Nicolas Cage,
they do
the famous demon hunter.
Do the penance.
He does show up in other demon movies, though.
Yeah, Angels and Demons. No, that's Tom Cruise.
That's Tom Cruise.
Wow,
he was in.
That was an insult to Tom Cruise.
Something about hunting a witch or something.
American Treasure. National Treasure.
National Treasure. Yeah. That famous demon hunting movie where he chases after the treasures of Benjamin Franklin.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Okay.
So yeah,
wrapping this up.
So, would you be able to watch this movie again, Carl?
No. There's a sequel to this movie.
Oh, that's the next one.
How?
Who greenlit the second one?
How?
But again, we have so many good Marvel movies now that in 2007,
I would love to see a new Ghost Rider movie. Like, to see
reboot.
the character done right.
Reboot it?
Yeah. I would love that.
I would give it. Yep. Absolutely. All right, man. Let's wrap this thing up.
All right.
This has been... if people are still listening, appreciate you.
Yeah, hey, we love you guys. Rambling. You know we love you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Facebook, The Drunken Nerd Podcast. YouTube, The Drunken Nerd Podcast. Twitter, The Drunken Nerd. We dropped the podcast for that one because we want to be real informal on Twitter or whatever. All right. Anyways, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'm at C_3VANS.
And if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can't because I don't do it.
If you want to follow him on Twitter,
follow Carl.
Blow up my Twitter to make him create a Twitter.
If there's enough people requesting it, I'll do it.
If we get 100 people to request this, he will create... No, 50. If we get 50 people to request
we're 100
Shipper
on that one.
Twitter... No, it's 50. if 50 people request a Twitter... Shipper Twitter, he'll make a Shipper Twitter.
The Shipper Twitter.
Other than that...
And it'll definitely be called that.
Oh, that's all it's going to be called. But we love you guys. Thank you so much. Please share this with friends. We got, I think it was 89 listens last week. Something like 89 listens last week. Keep sharing. We appreciate it.
Also, if you want to subject us to a really bad comic book movie, let us know in the comments.
Or a good
we'll be
one.
happy to
a good one.
hit ourselves so much more to listen to some more of this crap.
If you want to force me to watch the movie Iron Man, I will do it.
No.
I will do it for you.
Howard the Duck.
He's been pushing this all week.
I have been. He's ignoring me.
Next week, what are we going to do? You think Mortal Kombat next week?
We'll do Mortal Kombat next week.
Because it's like a video game and a movie?
Yeah. A little bit of combination of the two.
We'll talk about the video game a little bit, and then we'll cover the movie as the main part
it'll be
of the
something
podcast.
similar to this. So if you like this, stick in for next week, and we'll do Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, baby.
If you want to get ahead of it, I believe it's on Netflix, right?
It is on Netflix.
And if you want to watch, if you're intrigued by
Don't watch
Ghost Rider by our conversation, you want to see how bad it is. And
Send
it
emails
is bad
to Netflix saying to take Ghost Rider off of Netflix. It's wasting bandwidth.
Yeah, pretty much. So, till next time.